never done this before, so this was a first for me. I thought it was live earlier, and it was not. Let me go ahead and get into it. All right, so thank you first to all the patients who have been very, very patient with all this. Thank you to all the specialists who I have had taking care of our patients with emergencies, with toothaches and emergency root canals. We've had a good group taking care of all of our patients and a good community that we've been working with. So last week, the governor's office caused a bit of confusion with whether dental offices were open or not. On April 20th, the governor's office put out an order saying that all dental offices could start seeing patients again as long as they followed the CDC guidelines. That in itself was a contradictory statement because the CDC was still saying only to see emergency patients and not to see anybody else. So the state dental board and the Georgia Dental Association went back to the governor and said, you need to clarify this. We don't really know what you're trying to communicate. So they basically went back to the drawing board. They made a new order that they put out on April 23rd and said that you can start to see patients again as long as you follow the ADA guidelines. So now the ADA has come out with a new set of guidelines that we're following, that we're going to use to see patients. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the scoop on that right now. Our big stumbling block going forward is going to be getting PPE, getting the correct N95 masks, the gowns, hair coverings, all that good stuff. We're in a slightly different situation than your physicians, your general physician's office, because a lot of the procedures we do creates a mist of air, a mist of water in the air called an aerosol that can transmit the virus. And so we need to protect ourselves, our staff, protect you from any cross-contaminations with that. We really pride ourselves on being top-notch in infection control. We're well-trained, we're well-experienced, primarily with bloodborne pathogens, bloodborne viruses and bacteria. And now we've got to add this other dimension to our existing protocol. So that's what we're working on right now. So the stumbling block will be to get this PPE in. I'm sure you've seen on the news that hospitals themselves are struggling to get masks and gowns in. And now every dental office in the country is also looking for the same materials. So, excuse me, the masks should begin to arrive next week, middle of next week. We're going to be paying close attention when everything gets here. Right now, the gowns, a lot of the other disposable gear, it's not clear exactly when that will be arriving. We're hoping that we will begin to see certain patients at the end of next week. Our priority is going to be to see patients who have broken existing crowns or who have had root canals done recently that need crowns themselves. And then we'll be getting them in as soon as possible. And then within a week or two, as we get more goods in, we'll be able to start getting patients in for cleaning appointments. We have a list of patients who we know who need restorative care. We're going to contact them first to make them a priority. Going forward, we're going to have a new procedure. Carrie and Lily will be contacting you to basically schedule your appointments. We'll have to make certain appointments longer to accommodate all these extra steps we're going to need to do. And we're also going to stagger appointments so that when you arrive, in the past, maybe if you had an 8 o'clock cleaning appointment, there was somebody else who also had an 8 o'clock cleaning appointment, and you might go back at the exact same time. We're going to do our best to avoid that situation by staggering appointments. That way everyone's walking down the hallway at separate times. So be patient with that. So that means basically it's going to be a big puzzle trying to get everybody in the right spots, the right times. Your appointment you have right now on the books in the coming months will probably be modified and changed. So be patient as we try to fit everybody in and get everybody taken care of. Before your appointment, Lily and Carrie will be calling you with screening questions. They'll be asking the usual stuff. Have you had a fever? Have you been exposed to anybody who's tested positive? Have you had cough, shortness of breath? The usual questions. And then we'll also ask that you not bring any family members with you to the appointment. If you have kids that will need to be watched, you'll need to make arrangements in advance and then just come alone. If you or a family member needs an interpreter, then we'll make arrangements for that. We can bring that person back into the room, no problem with that. Service animals also will accommodate those. Your prescription medication that you are scheduled to take, you would continue to take that as normal. Nothing would change with that. Once you get here, we'll ask that you pull up in your car, wait in your vehicle, text us and let us know that you've arrived, and a staff member will come out. We'll have an infrared thermometer to check your temperature on your forehead. Our goal is to have your temperature read 100.4 or below. Excuse me, below 100.4. 100.4 is the cutoff. So 100.3 or below would be ideal. If you answer, we'll also ask the screening questions again. So be patient with our staff because we'll have to go through all that a second time and make sure you're answering no to all those questions. If a yes answer to any of those questions, we'll have to reschedule you in order to protect everybody. Once you are cleared, we'll bring you into the office. We'll try to avoid anybody in the waiting room, and we'll take you straight back. We'll have everybody rinse with a hydrogen peroxide rinse before the appointment. Also, we'll be somewhat limited on certain instruments that we can use. When we are bringing patients in for cleanings, we won't be able to use that ultrasonic device. If you remember from your cleanings, sometimes we use that little metal scraper that makes that awful high-pitched noise and sprays water everywhere. We won't be able to use that because it sprays water everywhere. So that means that our hygienists will have a bit more work to do to get the tartar off your teeth. They'll certainly do the absolute best that they can, and getting the tartar and the calculus off will be the priority. Getting stain off will be difficult to do without the use of the ultrasonic. So your best bet is prevention in that regard. Try to watch how much coffee you're drinking, your tea, your soda, red wine, turmeric, all that stuff that can stain your teeth. Keep it to a minimum. You certainly can still enjoy it, but at least rinse your mouth out with water afterwards, chew some sugar-free chewing gum, and maybe even brush when you're finished. And that'll help out a lot. We also won't be offering nitrous oxide sedation. Nitrous oxide sedation involves blowing air and nitrous oxide through your nose. And a certain amount of that will also come out through your mouth, which can add to the aerosolization of the water droplets. So we're not going to be offering that. If I hear any different information from the CDC or the ADA about the use of nitrous oxide, we'll certainly change our policy. But right now, I don't really feel comfortable offering that to patients currently. That's pretty much it. So again, the goal is we're going to prioritize restorative patients, start seeing them ideally the end of next week. It might be the following week, depending on how our goods arrive. And then it might be a week or two after that when we can start to see cleaning patients. But again, our big stumbling block is going to be getting PPE in, masks, gowns, all that good stuff, the same stuff that everybody's scrambling for, hospitals and physicians. Now dentists are in the same pool. Are we open? Sorry, yes. So somebody has asked, are we open? So right now, the ADA is still recommending that we remain closed to non-elective care through April 30th, which is this Thursday. So beginning May 1st, any dental offices that are prepared to see patients can begin to do so. We are not fully prepared because we haven't received all the masks and gowns and things that we need. We're scrambling to get that just like the hospitals are. Our goal is we have restorative patients who we've got a list of people who we know have restorative needs. Our goal is to start seeing them the end of next week and start bringing people through to catch up on those needs. We'll be calling you probably late this week, early next week, when we start to have a better idea of exactly what day we can get you in to do that. And probably a couple weeks after that, as we get more and more of the protective gear in, we'll be able to start scheduling cleaning appointments. Somebody has an upcoming appointment. Should that person wait for Carrie to call if they need to reschedule? We're going to be super busy. Yeah, we will be super busy with the phones. How soon that appointment is will probably determine how quickly we get to you to reschedule. We're going to start working through the lists. We've missed a bunch of appointments while we've been shut down. So we'll be people who have the greater health need. We'll certainly be prioritizing those folks. And we're just going to have a long laundry list of people. I'm sure we're going to add some Mondays. That will be open as well. I know normally we don't see patients on Mondays, but we'll probably be busy this summer with working Monday through Friday, getting caught up on everybody. So yeah, you are welcome to call if you want to get information. Your best bet just we'll certainly get to you. We're not going to forget about you. Once we have more solid dates, we'll let everybody know. Yes, I have been very upset to be missing my amazing staff. If anyone on here is curious, it may just be my staff and my family that's watching this. But if anybody who is a patient who's watching this, yeah, we have been having regular staff meetings every week on Zoom and trying to stay in touch. I've been giving them as much information as I can as well. They've been watching all the probably similar webinars that I've been watching as far as infection control goes. A lot of us have been getting some CE in, some continuing education. We were supposed to go to a big dental convention in March, and that was canceled. And so a lot of us have missed out on some continuing education, but I know I've taken a lot. I'm sure my staff has taken some. I'm sure they've taken a lot. So they've been taking a lot of courses. So hopefully we'll have like a lot of good information to share with you when we get back. And that's kind of where we are. So I do thank all of you who showed up. It's probably my mom and my staff, but for the rest of you who are here, I did see a few patients actually in the comment feed as we were going along. So hopefully I answered all your questions. People who were curious, thanks again for showing up. Apologies we got started late. And I am going to hit the end button. Again, if you need anything, my cell phone number is on the answer machine. You can contact me that way. It doesn't have to be just an emergency. If you have a question about anything in general, you're welcome to contact me. And y'all stay safe. Have a great day.